Come on. Hello, and David and Kelly Pritchard here, Access Ministries. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We are going to talk tonight about what we would say is one of the most important things if you're looking to try to get the most out of 2017, especially if you're trying to help your kids get the most out of 2017. We're going to talk about something that we have come to find to be one of the most important things, that skills, tools, principles that you've got to pass on to your kids.
Mm-hmm. And to some of you, this might sound super overwhelming because I know it's December 4th and you have a lot coming at you. But we feel like one of the best gifts that you can give your kids and your family and each other is to be thinking about how you want to start the new year and how you want to look at the new year and plan for the new year. And so many times that just gets shoved by the wayside. So it's not something you have to do tonight or this week, but we want to start planting some seeds about this.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise all of a sudden it's January and it's like, oh, we need to start thinking about 2017, and we're in 2017. So the other thing that's of course affected this is that we are affiliates with Michael Hyatt's Best Year Ever, and it's coming up. He's got some webinars coming up that are free webinars that are coming up that are just really going to be great. And we'll put some links in there, but we've sent out his ebook and his assessment, and we've done that because, again, we're trying to help families get on the front end. And then
actually we're trying to help ourselves, and we're just letting you listen.
Yeah, we're super excited about it for ourselves, but we also wanted to help bring some of you along that wanted to be a part of this as well. In fact, we're creating a few extra bonuses that we're just going to be throwing in for free if you decide to do his stuff, which you'll see here in the next several days. We've got some bonuses that we're adding to it because we've started thinking about what are the things that are very specific or unique as we think about goal setting, as we think about preparation for 2017. What are those things that are kind of unique to families? And so we're gonna offer a few of those things that we think will be helpful.
Mm-hmm. But we want to just talk about something really specific tonight, and this might sound really different to you, but it's something that we've used, this language we've used with our kids since they were really young, and we want to share it with you tonight.
Yeah, and so think of it this way: if you were to finish this statement, and the statement is anything worth doing is worth doing, most people would say doing well, and we would say yes, absolutely. But what we've come to believe, and what we've passed on to our kids, is to take that saying and twist it just a little and say anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. Mm-hmm. In other words, what we wanted our kids to know is, if it's worth doing, then it's worth being bad at it for a while and doing whatever it takes to learn to get good at it.
I don't know if you've had anyone at your house take music lessons, like, for example, piano. But I remember when our kids started piano, and I would listen and think, oh my goodness, they're never going to get this, because it just didn't sound like any kind of a song. And they would get discouraged, and I think they thought I was discouraged. And I just kept saying, no, you keep practicing, because anything worth doing well is worth doing poorly at first. And so that was just different language. They hadn't heard that, and we let them know it's okay that it doesn't sound like a song at the first.
And I guess, like, you might be thinking, well, so what does that have to do with 2017, or what does that have to do with preparing for the new year? And the point is simply this: if we don't put in our kids kind of this sense of being willing to risk, like, it's okay that I'm not good at that. I mean, I remember the first time taking Krista to basketball, and Krista's our second oldest, and she was, I don't know what she was, maybe second grade, third grade, something like that. And I remember, the very first time we were going to go, it was Saturday basketball, the thing our little town did every year. The high school girls were the coaches, and so I'm driving Krista there, and she's all of a sudden kind of tearing up and saying, I don't want to go. And I'm like, whoa, how come? I don't want to traumatize my daughter, and she said, because I'm not any good at basketball.
I don't know how.
Yeah, and see, the honest truth is that's how we all can tend to feel about things, and so I would say, or we would say, as parents, probably one of the most important gifts, one of the most important things that we can do for our kids is to get over that hump and to, in a sense, train them to not approach things that way. In other words, not to approach things of in saying, well, because I'm not good at it, I better not try it. And instead saying, wow, I'm not any good at that, so I'm going to need to give it a shot. And so, again, the point as we get, thinking about 2017 is we want to make sure that we are encouraging our kids to take a risk. Don't set goals in 2017 that are all things that I know I can get to, because, that doesn't allow them to really accomplish all that they can accomplish. But understand that sometimes we can be the thing that keeps them from kind of setting some of those goals because they're afraid of letting us down. They're afraid, will mom and dad be disappointed in me if I don't reach that goal? And so we wanted our kids to always know, which, that saying was just one of those ways. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of examples in history of people that tried things a lot. I think of Thomas Edison and how many things failed in his experimentation before he got the light bulb right. I mean, there's athletic examples, there's inventor examples, and those are great to share with your kids, because somehow in culture today, kids don't want to be laughed at or made fun of, which I know none of us like to be laughed at or made fun of, but so much so that they're afraid to take the shot or to get up and talk about the science experiment because they don't want to look bad. And we've had to have some real heart-to-heart talks with our kids. Number one, that's not who our identity is in, and that's not why we want people to like us or not like us, because how well we can throw a ball in a basket. And so this all ties into goal setting, because if our kids or even us if we're not willing to take a risk and fail at first, we're not going to ever try new things or set goals into the next thing that we're hoping to be and do.
Yeah, and so we would say as parents, the things that we want to get in the practice of, and we would encourage you, get in the habit of doing, is things like you want to make sure that you are rewarding or affirming effort as opposed to success, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, instead of just accomplishment, you want to be affirming them that they worked really hard. So if they do play a song and they play it well, rather than say, oh wow, you're so good at that song, say, wow, you worked so hard this week at getting that song ready. Doesn't that feel good, right? So we're going to affirm effort as opposed to accomplishment.
Yeah. Which, brings us again to some of the research that's being done right now in schools and in parenting about empty praise or false praise. Our kids are
They're pretty smart.
Yeah. I mean, even if the song is really bad, I'm not going to say, oh, that sounds great. I'm going to say, keep working. You're on the right track. Keep working at it. Because kids know it's not a great song. So we don't want to lie to our kids as we're trying to praise them. We want to praise, again, the fact that they're sitting down and fighting through trying to play a song.
Yeah, and the other thing that we would say as parents is we want to get good at helping them or affirming the process, right? That there may be this end goal, whether it be playing the piano or being an athlete or whatever that is.
Or the fire dance.
But yeah, and the example I was going to use is the fire dance. Our son Kayla, I'll back up. My two oldest sons both wanted to learn the fire dance, which is something that I learned from my dad, and so they'd seen me do it, and so they wanted to learn the fire dance, and so I showed them how to do the one little move, and they kind of practiced it a little bit, sort of got it down, and then they were done, right? Because it was hard, and it takes a while to learn each move. My third son, on the other hand, Kayla, wanted to learn the fire dance, and he was bound and determined, and so he asked me to show him how to do it. So I showed him a quick little move with the fire dance, and then he just went and was relentless, just worked hard to learn that one move. And then when he had it down, he came back and said, Dad, let me show you. And then he showed me the move, and he goes, can you show me another? And so I'd show him another. And then he would work really hard at that one and come back and go, Dad, I got it. And that's what he did. And so we would affirm the process and say, God, you're doing a great job at, that next process. And so again, as parents, we have to get good at affirming the process. And because sometimes, all they can see is the big picture, and they're not getting there. And what we have to do is maybe be the ones that help them see wow, you're not there yet, but boy, you're doing a great job of getting this first piece done.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would say about the process is that our kids think that we magically can do some of the things that we do as adults, like with our kids that we've adopted from Ethiopia, like with math. They think all of a sudden a light bulb goes on and we just get how to long divide or to subtract.
Because we're explaining what to do, and they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, no one knows how to do
Yeah.
that until you do know how to do that.
Yeah. So even the thought or planting the seed that we all have to sit and do lots of problems until we really understand it well, and even the process of explaining how to do it back to us is part of learning. And so, you know, that's something that with them I go, oh, I've never said to my kids before. All of us have had to struggle through long division until we go, oh, I get it. And that's not to say like I can't find a different way to show them how to do it, or a way that they get it and the light bulb goes on. But that whole bit of risk of being wrong, and I got to keep at this even though I'm not getting it until they get it right, is, you know, again, language that I want to be part of our family.
Yeah. So sorry we went a little bit longer than we usually do, but we wanted to pass this on because, again, as you start thinking about 2017 and, you know, what are the things I need to do as parents, we wanted to pass that on because that's been a biggie for us. We wanted to make sure as we were raising our kids, especially as they started hitting those teen years, that we were encouraging them to try things. We were encouraging them to risk. And part of that was encouraging them with that statement, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. So hopefully you'll use that, pass that on. You know, we would love to hear maybe some, you know, in fact, we were trying to collect these the other day, and so we would love to hear maybe some little sayings that you've used that have been helpful. But we will continue to give you some of the links to some of this stuff that Michael Hyatt's doing, only because it's fantastic stuff, and we're going to use it, and we'd love you to join us in that, and then we'll try to see if we can't help you a little bit more on the family piece of it. But we're looking forward to a great 2017, and just know that we're going to be here, you know, trying to partner with you along the way. So thanks for listening.
Yes, and happy getting ready for Christmas days.
We'll see you.